Hello everyone, Larcenies is here, and welcome to another character breakdown. Let's just get right into it. Well, like I said before, Paragon is free to play, and it's time to enlist a few of you guys to join the Paragon Wars and the Path of the Noob. But in order to do that, we need someone to take charge. We need someone who we can follow. We need a leader. And it's time to pull a rank and decide who we're going to break down today. Today, we're going to break down the newest character of Paragon, Lieutenant Belica. Lieutenant Belica, which I'm going to call Bell for short, because this is a little too long. So, Lieutenant Bell is an interesting character. And we're going to break her down, and let's see what she's rolling with. Let's see what kind of cool abilities, and let's see if she's even good enough to join the Paragon War and the Path of the Noob. So, scrolling to her profile, let's just see what she has. Okay, so she has intelligence and other cards, which is really interesting, and I'm gonna let you know in a few minutes why. Her base attack is at 2, which is pretty bad. Ability power at 7, which is okay. Durability at 4, which is so decent. And mobility at 2, meaning that she's slow, and definitely when you play with her, it shows. But let's just see what's her skins about. Let's see her abilities, and let's see what kind of cards you put in Lieutenant Bell. Okay, so I dig the all black, but me personally, I like this challenger skin right here. The purple and black show a little bit more color and a little bit more flair for Bell. But if you enjoy this character enough, you can purchase the Polish Strike skin, which is the white and black colors, looking like her looking like a sore thumb in the battlefield, but she looks like a badass while doing it. Her base attack is Burst Fire, doing 35 energy damage. Your R1 ability is Void Bomb, your grenade-like move that detonates after a few seconds, doing 80 energy damage. And depending on who it hits, how many people it hits, it recovers 10 of your mana each time it hits an enemy. Your Seismic Assault is a straight line that does 50 damage, and on top of that, it stuns the enemy for only a second, but it's gonna matter ever so slightly, and I'll show you why. Your circle ability is Void Drone. It's another AoE move that summons a little robot that drains your enemy's mana and attacks them only when they do ability. So keep that in mind. Only when they do ability, it strikes them. But your Magnum, your ultimate ability, your one shot. Neurodestructor. This is your ultimate ability that shoots enemies and does additional damage depending on how much mana your enemy's missing. So the cards you put on Bell is very interesting because she kind of reminds me of Greystone. That there's really no wrong way to build her. You want to put energy damage? Go ahead. You want to put cooldown? Go ahead. Attack speed, be my guest. Don't recommend it, but definitely be my guest. But the cards I put on her is cooldown, energy damage, mana, a little bit of mana, and some health. So that way she can take some hits. This allows her to become a spam cannon. And just spam her abilities and just do a lot of her moves. Her moves rely heavily on AoE and is very effective. But let's show them off and let's see what she can be, a force to be reckoned with. Before I start, let me let you know that her ultimate I can't do unless I'm hitting an enemy. And that little blue triangle on the floor, I'm not sure if that's her range or what, but I believe that's the range for her base attack. I don't know if that's a new feature or not, but just thought to let you guys know that. Now this is a basic attack, Burst Fire right here. Has a great range if that's the triangle that actually does have range. This is Seismic Assault, where she grabs the sword from Halo and does a nice little earthquake effect. Keep in mind this stuns enemies for only a second, but the range for this is pretty disgusting. Now her second ability is the grenade itself. It's also another AoE move that detonates over time. And depends on how many enemies you hit, you get 10 mana every time it hits. So just keep that in mind. Now your other ability is Void Drone right here, which is another big AoE move that summons a drone. Keep in mind this drone won't attack anyone unless they're using their abilities. It'll just drain the mana. So always keep that in mind. This won't kill nobody. It'll just shoot them only when they do abilities. So only use this when you're fighting enemies. Don't use this against minions. Trust me guys, you don't want to do that. But let's take out that Magnum and see how much damage it really does. Well, at the beginning, it really doesn't do much. But let's continue how Belica is. Seismic Assault is a great move where it can disrupt enemies' ultras like you just saw a few seconds ago. And it has a disgusting range, so enemies really can't run away unless they're moving left and right. So if they run in a straight line, most likely they're gonna get hit with Seismic Assaults. Now you want to really spam your abilities. Void Drone's gonna do damage over time if they're using their abilities and not paying attention, as your grenade move can just do damage without them noticing. But your Magnum is your best friend. If you do cooldown like I told you, you can get that stuff, you can get it in like 30 seconds and just do massive damage as they burn their abilities. So the more abilities they do, the more deadlier Belle becomes. So always keep that in mind. She can do massive damage without the enemies even expecting it. Like I said, Belle's a good character. You want to make sure you combo your abilities. It's kind of hard to do at first, but once you get the hang of it, she can become a deadly force and do so much damage. Her base attack is very slow and doesn't do that much damage, but it has a good range. So always keep that to your advantage to disrupt the enemy. Make sure you try to distract your enemy so that way your drone can do a little bit of damage. Well, that way you can set up for your ultimate. And keep in mind, your ultimate doesn't miss. Lieutenant Belle is a fun character to play with. I actually enjoyed playing with her. She has a lot of AoE moves and she's pretty flashy to use. Like I said, you want to make sure that when you use Seismic Assault to use it to its best of abilities. It has a long range and it can only stun enemies for a second, but that second really matters because, like I said, you can stun enemies off from the ultimate, so you won't get caught in the receiving end. You want to make sure one thing possible, that you don't use your Void Drone only when you're fighting enemies. If you're fighting real players or even AI players, you want to make sure you have Void Drones then. You don't want to spam it against minions because it's not going to do anything. Void Drone won't attack enemies if they don't do their abilities. Keep that in mind. It'll only drain the mana. So this, always keep that head. So if they don't use their abilities and just hit you with basic attacks, the Void Drones will stand there and just suck up their mana. So always pay attention to that. The more abilities that the enemies burn on you, the more mana that they use, the more deadly a Belle becomes. Because that Magnum will do more damage the more mana they burn. So make sure you have Void Drone available. Make sure that you're moving left and right. Make sure you combine Seismic Assault with your Void Grenade, so that way you can do the most damage possible. But also keep in mind that Lieutenant Belle has no escape moves, so she can't run away. So if you're too deep into a fight, you're going to be screwed. But I recommend cards on energy damage, cooldown time, health, and a little bit of mana. Trust me guys, you don't need that much mana. You really need to focus on that cooldown time, because some of those abilities take too long to come out, and you need those abilities as fast as possible, especially your Seismic Assault and especially your drone when you're fighting people, because that's when it really counts. Now, like I said, it's time to present arms. The war is over and the breakdown is too. I hope you guys enjoyed what you see. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to see more breakdowns, let's plays, and other stuff I do. Share this with friends so that way if they're playing Paragon, that they can check out how Lieutenant Belle is. And don't forget to comment below to let me know what you really think of her. But until next time, you might see Lieutenant Belle on a Path of Noob series because she's really fun to use. And I'll see you next time.